I know how it feels to absolutely just despise the way you look and be nervous for going to buy clothes, to hate family events because you feel overweight and you feel like people are judging you and you hate the clothes you're in and you don't want to spend more money, go get more clothes. I know what this cycle is like. In this video, I'm going to tell you how I've lost so much weight several times in my life, which doesn't necessarily mean it's been successful every time, but I'm going to tell you about my struggles with eating entirely too much in one sitting. I think you know what it's called. I just don't want YouTube to like demonetize or take, reduce the reach of the video because I'm bringing up an ED, and then how I grew up overweight and how that has translated into like what I'm doing today. If you relate to any of this, eating entirely too much in one sitting, or just struggling with your weight loss, yo-yo dieting, whatever, I think this might be helpful for you to hear. So first off, I grew up fat. I hate starting from the beginning. I hate that phrase, or early on in my life, but I grew up fat. I always grew up extremely overweight. I was picked on a lot, and I literally had bullies picking on me verbally. Luckily they couldn't stand up to my size, so sometimes I beat them up, but I was young, so would I do that today? I hope not. But early on in my life, I was sleepwalking. I would go over to a friend's house or something, and I would literally wake up with night terrors, and it always happened the same way. I would wake up with a night terror. I would be awake during that night terror, thinking I was seeing something as more like a hallucination, and then I would fall back asleep as soon as that night terror was over, while standing. And so my eyes would be up. I've had full length conversations with people. They wouldn't make a whole lot of sense, but enough sense that a person doubted that I was actually sleeping. I would lie, apparently, telling people that I was awake, my parents or friends or whatever. And this has all happened whenever I was very young. It's the reason I bring up sleepwalking is because it has so much to do with, and if you don't sleepwalk or struggle with sleepwalking and eating, it has so much to do with eating entirely too much in one sitting. I think I'm late enough in the video that I can say it's binging. So I would binge food and eat an entirely, just way too much food, all while sleeping. So I didn't even remember it. Sometimes I would remember it a little bit. It kind of felt like a dream where, I had bits and pieces of it, but I felt completely out of control. And like I wasn't making the decisions for myself. But something like 1% of the population actually does this. So it is a kind of a rare thing, but it's not like so rare that, no one does it. But again, it's very closely tied with binge eating disorder. So I lost 100 pounds around the age of 12. I was 200 and like 200 and something pounds, and I lost all the way down to 103 pounds. So it might have been a little more than 100 pounds lost. I would very unhealthfully walk 75 minutes a day. I don't know why I picked that. I just did, on an incline treadmill, listening to the same Hybrid Theory album by Linkin Park. And that's why they're my favorite band, because they were with me through that entire journey. That was the album with the little man bug thing on the cover. If you are familiar with Hybrid Theory, that was one of their better albums. You probably know what I'm talking about. But that is what led me to be a personal trainer. I knew right from about mid-high school that I wanted to be a trainer. And then in college, most people, I remember there was a class where, my entire class, the fitness degrees were all in, the same room getting talked to by like a board of like 4 or 5 people in the different professions that we were doing. So, it was athletic training and things like that. And I remember when the personal trainer was talking, they asked who wanted to be a personal trainer, and me and one other guy out of the entire room. There was only like, 100 or 200 of us, but we were the only ones that raised our hand for being a personal trainer. It's not the easiest life in the world. Sometimes you got to wake up super early, got to go to bed late. Sometimes that's when people can work out. Now with online training, it's a lot better, but still, it wasn't a very desirable career, especially to be training just average people. People wanted to work with sports and stuff like that back then. I'm sure more of them are trainers now than they probably thought would be. But anyways, I knew from the beginning I wanted to be a personal trainer. I've never veered from that course. I've had to have jobs between and stuff to get me by if business was bad or COVID or whatever completely destroyed it. But all in all, I've always known that's what I want to do. I never want to do anything else. I want to make content around it and help people online, but I never want to do anything else. It is my dream job. It is always what I've wanted to do, and is because I struggled so much with my weight, and I know how it feels to hate yourself. I know how it feels to absolutely just despise the way you look and be nervous for going to buy clothes, to hate family events because you feel overweight and you feel like people are judging you and you hate the clothes you're in and you don't want to spend more money, go get more clothes. I know what this cycle is like. And so that is why I'm so passionate about being a personal trainer. So now to kind of catch you up to speed on, what I've done to combat this, and I will tell you tips for sleepwalking and eating entirely too much in one sitting. I will give you tips on that, on what I've done to overcome that. I'm certainly not done, as you can tell. But I've come a long way. Now, unfortunately, I've lost, 100 pounds or close to it, like multiple times. So it's not something that I will claim to have ever mastered. But at the same time, I have helped hundreds of people lose thousands of pounds. It's my favorite phrase to say because it's true. And they have kept it off. It's all about kind of your own mental health. And that's what I'm going to get into with my story a little bit. And how relatively recently, within the past like year or two, I feel like completely overcome that and in complete control of it. If you want to lose 12 pounds in your first month, I'm going to give you all of 5 habits that I run all of my clients through. They really love it. It's totally free. So what do you got to lose? You can download it right here or the link in the description. So hope this helps you. So now I focus on 4 things. I focus on I focus on this with all of my clients, these 4 things. Number 1 is your calories. And I know that's normal advice, but it is true. Calories in, calories out is real. It is the basis of fat loss. There is probably and hear me, I really mean it. You probably have nothing wrong with your hormones. You probably have nothing wrong with, your gut health or whatever. Those are just nice things to hear so that now it doesn't fall on me, on you. So it is a factor of calories in, calories out. My whole channel is dedicated to helping you increase your calories out and decrease your calories in, so that you can lose weight. So number 1 is calories and food logging. Number 2 is exercise. And we're going to get more into that. But number 2 is exercise. That is your cardio and your weightlifting. You got to be doing them both. You got to be doing them consistently. It doesn't have to be a ton of time every week. It could be a total of like 4 hours a week, maybe even less, maybe like 2 hours a week. But you got to be doing it. Now, cardio, at least leisurely cardio, walking around and stuff, the American Heart Association or whatever recommends 150 minutes a week of cardio. So, 30 minutes, 5 days a week is what you'd be looking at there. So, you should be moving every day, but I'm saying like dedicated exercise, maybe 2 to 4 days a week, is all you would absolutely need. Of course, more is going to help you. Number 3, which kind of goes in with cardio, sort of, is steps. And I just think daily movement, but also like movement throughout your day, not getting it all in the cardio session that you do and then not moving the rest of the day. It is steps, consistent, burning of calories. And then number 4 is recipes. That is a huge part of why I feel free of eating entirely too much in one sitting, to use that phrase again, is because the food I make is really good. It's really simple. And I've said this in my last few videos. I'm coming out with a cookbook. I keep working on it. As I make recipes, I'm adding them to the cookbook. Once I have like 3 or 4, I'm going to, it's going to be released. But if you were on my email list, you are going to get that for free. I'm not charging for it or anything. So that is going to be curated all around the internet. I take them, I make them what I think is better in terms of calories and protein and everything. And I'm going to post them to this, and you guys are going to have it free forever. So sign up for my email list, and every time I add something, I plan on, letting my subscribers know, my email subscribers know. So sign up for the email list if you haven't already. Link in the description for that. And you'll get a free fat loss challenge with it, because if you're signing up for the cookbook, you're still going to get the fat loss challenge because that's the only thing I'm giving out right now. So let's get into some tips for sleepwalking and binging. If you struggle with this, number 1, these things are going to be like cliche and like obvious. But if you're like, oh, well, of course I know that. Are you doing it though? That's the thing. And that's, I'm saying this to you because I've said this to myself. Like, well, I'm not really actually doing that. It's good idea, but why am I not doing it? So number 1 is going to be a pantry locker. They're not super expensive. I think they're, like $20-$30 on Amazon. For I would just look up, some type of like plastic, personal locker or something that is small enough that it can store the goodies. So like for me, it is peanut butter. I cannot survive around peanut butter. Still, I can't survive around peanut butter. So we don't have it in the house, or it goes in that pantry locker, but we don't even have it in the house because if my wife ever gets it out and then forgets to put it back in the pantry locker, I will eat it. And that is not sleepwalking. That is like me. It's just, I'm not good around it. But now I make peanut butter. I think Greg Doucette coined that term. Maybe he didn't, but I don't even know if I follow his recipe. I just make my own, which will be in my cookbook. So get a pantry locker. Have a person who doesn't struggle in the house know the code. If everyone struggles in the house, next thing is going to help you, which is don't buy certain foods. And I know you know that, and I know you've heard it, but you probably still buy those foods. And if you don't, you probably buy them and you put them out of the way, which is a good idea. It's a step in the right direction, but don't even have the foods, especially if you sleepwalk like I do. You're going to find them. My wife has caught me several times, like searching hard for the peanut butter, you know, if before the locker. But with the locker, I'm not like violent while I'm sleeping. I'm not going to break because I don't want to wake anyone up. I've noticed whenever I'm sleepwalking, and I don't sleepwalk as much, I'm going to tell you about that. So don't buy those foods, just tell your family how important it is to you that you overcome this, and that this is actually a mental health struggle as well. And this is something that is like really affecting you emotionally, and you will, hopefully win them to your side of, I can't have chips. Pick your thing. If you have a problem with like 17 different foods, there's probably more there, and you need to, probably seek some food counseling of some sort. For me, it's a select grouping of foods. Now, if there's something delicious, I will still eat that delicious thing in my sleep for sure. I'm not saying I don't face temptations for other things, but like my problem thing, you probably have your thing. It's like chips or, popcorn, which popcorn, there's good unbuttered solutions. So popcorn isn't that bad, but, chips or fries or burgers or whatever, fill in the blank. If that's your problem food, just don't have it in the house. A lot of times it's going to be sweets, things like Little Debbie's. They're too expensive anyway. Just stop buying them. It's not good for your family either. Think about your family's health as well. I'm not trying to like guilt trip you into it, but I'm just saying like, it's not a bad thing that in our house we don't have ho-hos, ding-dongs, or fill in the blank of whatever, thing it is. Cookies. We don't have any cookies. And we have peanut butter in the locker. So number 3 is exercise. Even if you have eaten too much, entirely too much in one sitting, still go exercise. I'm telling you, it combats that. It's not like a make up for it thing. That's a different ED, which is, going number 3 in the bathroom, not number 1, not number 2, but number 3, out this way. So even if you exercise, like if you eat bad and you feel so much guilt that you go exercise to work that off, that is a form of the B word for the eating, the ED. Sorry, I'm trying to avoid it so much. Just I don't want this video to reduce reach because of bad, potentially scary words. So exercise, it will combat that. There's just good things that happen in your brain whenever you exercise. There's mental health links, beyond what anyone can doubt, so it is going to be good for you. And then progress. Why did I write progress? Who knows? Oh, as you progress and as you achieve, like, hey, I feel stronger. I feel like my muscles feel tighter. I feel, I feel good. Way before you reach your end goal, that is then going to motivate you to not eat. But it starts with the doing whenever you don't feel like it. So you do something whenever you don't feel like it, such as exercise. That makes you feel a little more positive. You get some better results. You start to feel better and look better. And then you're much less likely to eat too much entirely in one sitting. So I keep saying that backwards or something, but you get it. So a lot of times motivation will start you off on this journey, but then there's going to be times you don't feel motivated. And I know this is a cliche, but discipline, doing it even when you don't feel like it, or doing it after you have failed at controlling your eating, meaning going to the gym and doing it anyway, that will lead to progress, which then the progress re-ups your motivation. You're not going to stay motivated forever. Sometimes you have to earn that motivation back. And I hate that, that's the truth though. That's what I'm going to tell you. So number 4 is when you fail, because if you're like me, I promise you're going to fail. I don't like using that word because it sounds harsh, but it's true. You're going to fall. We should probably say fall. You're going to overeat. Thanksgiving's coming up. You're probably going to overeat, and if you don't, congrats. I'm not putting that on you, but I'm just saying, like, there's going to be a time, your birthday, Christmas, something, sleepwalking if you're like me, and you're going to feel guilt. And I promise you don't need to. Any of my clients that have lost 100 pounds, 200 pounds, some of them, they've had struggles as well. Number 1, they got there. And number 2, every once in a while, whenever they have struggles still, I'll tell them, hey, pull up your 2-year graph. And I'll say, find for me, without looking at the dates, find for me where that one time was where you way overate and you felt horrible. And they're squinting, they can't find it. The point is, it means nothing. It's a blip on the radar. It means absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of things if you just keep pushing. Okay, you got this. But just know that it really doesn't mean nothing. And number 5 is going to be your mental health and not giving up. I know that's cliche, but go seek mental health help. There's special therapists that are designed to help you around food, and it will really help to there's usually a reason why you're eating entirely too much in one sitting, and that's usually not related to food. It's not just that you like so much food. There could be something a lot deeper. But also, don't give up. It will click for you. Keep watching my videos. My channel is dedicated to this. I don't talk about anything but fat loss and weight loss. You can do this. Seek a personal trainer. I train people online, but if you want a local personal trainer, someone's going to hold you accountable in person. It might be a little more expensive, but you can do that. You can overcome this. You just don't give up. I'm telling you, you got this. Watch my videos, download my cookbook. You can do this.